Hey guys, so today's video is going to be all about the Nabla Poison Garden palette. So I'll pop in a picture right here so you guys know what the palette looks like. The packaging is so beautiful. I love the packaging on this palette so much. I think it's absolutely stunning. But when I saw the shades, I was a bit thrown off. It was really not what I was expecting. And I really felt like I had those shades in my collection, and I really thought that I had them in one palette. So I'm going to be sharing that with you guys and a couple other shades from other palettes in my collection that I think are very similar. And I just kind of want to encourage you guys to shop your stash. If you want to buy this palette, go right ahead. I wish I could buy this palette. I wish I could buy every single new makeup release. But realistically, I cannot afford that, nor can I use all of that makeup up. So I really like to do these videos periodically when new releases come out that really catch my eye, and kind of not only encourage myself to shop my stash, but also encourage you guys too. So if you guys are interested in seeing what kind of dupes I can come up with, just keep watching. So guys, usually when I do these videos, I really don't have one palette that I feel like really dupes the majority of the shades in the palette that I'm trying to dupe. But today I actually do, and I'm so excited about it because it is so affordable, and that is the BH Cosmetics Festival Weekend palette. Now this retails for $18. It's available at Kohl's, it's available, I don't think it's available at Ulta anymore, but I know it's available on the BH Cosmetics website. But this palette is beautiful. You guys know I love this palette so much. I used it a lot on my channel at the beginning of this year, I think, when I got it. But it is a beautiful palette. The quality of these shadows really does impress me, and I think the color selection is absolutely beautiful. So I did kind of swatch my arm up, and I will insert a picture right here, kind of comparing my arm swatches to the Nabla swatches. And then I'm also gonna do a close-up of the swatches and kind of tell you guys what we're missing from the palette in this palette based on the swatches on my arm. Alright guys, so here are a close-up of the swatches. So right off the bat in the Nabla swatches, we're missing kind of a cool toned brown, kind of taupey brown right here. But there is this beautiful, super warm, kind of bronzy metallic shade. There's a deep matte brown next. Then there's kind of a taupey metallic shade right here. It's kind of like a taupey bronze shade that would be in between these two shades. There is kind of this warm cream color, white gold kind of shade in the Nabla palette, but it is matte. There's also a beautiful raspberry. That one we kind of got this beautiful like pumpkin-y orange shade we really nailed. This blue in the Nabla palette is supposed to be matte, but it is a very similar tone, and I will share with you guys a matte blue if you're looking for a matte alternative. This beautiful purple shimmer, it looks very similar to the one in the Natasha palette. This shade I was super excited about. It's not quite picking up on camera, but this is kind of a white shade that has like blue reflex in it. It's very similar to the one in the Natasha palette. And then we have kind of a bronzy shade right here. This one does lean a bit more pink tone, but I feel like bronzy shades are kind of a dime a dozen in most of our collection, so I wasn't too upset about that one. Then we have a beautiful mid-tone warm brown, and then the Nabla palette does have a matte black at the end. So guys, I feel like even though I could not dupe every single shade in the Nabla palette with the BH Cosmetics palette, I feel like that palette really does kind of capture the essence of the Nabla palette, and it grabs a lot of these statement shades from the Nabla palette. And this one is so much more affordable. I think Nabla palettes are $50 and upwards. I know they're an Italian brand, and shipping probably takes a while. And I have no idea what the exchange rate is for Italian currency and our US dollars. So that's just something to keep in mind if you already own this palette or if you're looking to pick it up. I definitely think this is an amazing alternative, and there are a couple shades that I missed, I'm not gonna lie. But a lot of those are just really simple staple neutrals that I feel like we all have in our collection. The one shade that I felt was kind of unique that I couldn't dupe with the BH Cosmetics palette exactly was that beautiful bright blue. And to dupe that, I'm going to go into my Blush Tribe Blossom palette. I didn't show you guys the front. And I would just dupe that with the shade Clover. This is, or I'm sorry, not Clover. Blue Days is what this shade is called. This is such a beautiful bright blue. It's absolutely fantastic to work with. It's super pigmented. It's just stunning. And I think those play so nicely together. I also wanted to note that the raspberry shade in the Nabla palette is maybe just a tad more toned down and less hot pink than the one in the BH Cosmetics palette, but I know so many of you own the Modern Renaissance palette or something very similar, or a dupe that has come out, and I think the raspberry and that might be a bit more spot on. It might be a bit of a closer dupe, but I think they're both absolutely beautiful, and I think they pair really well with the colors in the palette. Guys, I feel like this has been the shortest video ever. Usually when I do these videos, they're a little bit more time consuming to do, and they're just longer videos in general because I do have to swatch out every single shade from different palettes, but this one was really short and sweet because most of the shades were in this palette, and like I said, the ones that were missing I felt were just very basic, very neutral shadows that we all had in our collections over and over and over. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you do decide to pick up this palette or just shop your stash for this palette instead of getting the Nabla one. Have you guys tried Nabla shadows before? They're definitely a brand that I want to try, but they haven't released a palette that's really got me. I think Soul Blooming is absolutely beautiful, and I think Dreamy, yeah, I think it's Dreamy, is just, oh, it's breathtaking. I love the packaging on both of those, and I think if I were to buy one today, I'd probably buy Dreamy because I think it's just stunning, and those colors really are more kind of my speed. Soul Blooming is really pretty, but it has a lot of pastel-y shades, and I don't find myself using those as much anymore. But yeah, so I think that's going to wrap today's video up. What palette should I shop my stash next for? I am planning on doing the Huda Beauty New Nudes palette next, but I'll probably wait a week or two so these videos aren't back to back. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye! Just kidding, video's not quite over yet. I realized that I forgot something once I was done filming. So I was looking at this palette and I felt once the colors were revealed, they were A, not what I expected at all, and B, I felt like they were really random. And I just watched a video recently by Alexandria Sutton. I will link her down below in the video that I'm referring to, where she talks about palettes that make sense when they're swatched but maybe not necessarily in the pan. So I am going to find those couple little shades that I didn't have in the BH Cosmetics palette in my other palettes, and I will kind of swatch them by color family or just in a way that makes a little bit more sense. So maybe you guys can kind of make sense of this palette a little bit more if you were thinking of buying it, and kind of what the color story can really provide for you. Alright guys, so I did find those couple missing neutral shades, which are just kind of right here, these nice taupey and kind of cool tone browns. To find those, I just dipped into my Pretty Vulgar Nightingale palette, which we got in our BoxyCharm, so I figured maybe a lot of people would already own that one. But there are those shades kind of duped right there, and I just kind of grouped those together because I feel like when I have those just staple neutral shades, it's really easy to kind of pair like a pop of color with them, especially these more cool tone ones that I have on my hand because I ran out of room, and just create a really easy no-brainer look with them. So I did also pair kind of all the nice warm tones together. I grabbed this more burgundy brown tone. I think the one in the Nabla palette might be a little more burgundy, but I just grabbed it from my Bad Habit After Hours palette. It was just the shade Hickey. Of course, you could always mix in a little bit of Cabernet to make it a bit more red, but I thought it paired really nicely. It would just kind of anchor these other really warm tones. And then I think, I also I stole this kind of champagne-y shade from the After Hours palette. It was just the shade Clutch right here. So I think those are all the new shades that I grabbed. But as you can see, cool tones, nice pinky, warm tones. This shade is coming off really pink on camera, but in the pan and usually on my eyes it comes off much more bronze. And then these are kind of the cool tone oddball shadows, I feel like, of the palette because I don't know, I just feel like all the other pops of color are really warm and pretty, but I guess that does make this palette a bit more versatile. So I just kind of grabbed the blue from my Blush Try palette that I showed you guys in the video, and then the purple from the BH Cosmetics palette, and then this cool like duochrome shade in the BH Cosmetics palette. I do think that this really does kind of break the palette down a little bit differently. I still really don't think that I need it, but if you guys were thinking of buying it, maybe this kind of shows you how you can create cohesive looks with it. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that like button if you enjoyed this kind of video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.